Welcome to another episode of Quick Tips, where I teach you something about the endless games in this case in more or less 5 minutes. So, in this episode, I'm going to tell you how to do a stockpile economy. And that's basically a way for you to gap or bridge the gap between the middle and end game with a powerful resource advantage. And how this works is that first you need the Art of Auriga. It's a building you can get early in the game. You unlock it by finding pills. So to get it, you need to have the Shifters expansion where you get the LIE. So once you have the Art of Auriga, you can unlock this screen over here. And this gives you a bunch of bonuses you can unlock with pearls. So remember to collect all the pearls you can get your hands on. And of these bonuses, I think this unassuming upgrade, pearl holding, is by far the best. And what it lets you do is it lets you turn 8 pearls and 100 industry into food and industry and also science stockpiles. Now those stockpiles initially only get you 100 industry or science or food. In this screen, by the way. You have to go here to unlock these stockpiles and you have to activate them manually for this screen. So if you're spending 100 industry to get 100 industry somewhere else, or 100 food somewhere else, or 100 science somewhere else, that alone is not that impressive because, again, it's costing you extra pearls. But there's a clever way of exploiting this. The thing is, when you upgrade stockpiles, it acts retroactively, so any old stockpiles you have also get upgraded. You can exploit this by picking up here, organized labor, and here, unskilled labor. These perks you can easily tell them apart by the fact that they have multiple colors, orange, blue, and green in their art. Again, the colors indicate what kind of resource it gives you. And here, you want to pick up unskilled labor and organized labor. What they do is they improve the value of the stockpiles by 1,000 food, industry, or science, and 500 food, industry, or science. So this stacks. Once you have both, your stockpiles are going to get way better. They're going to give you 1,500 extra resources. But you'll only have built them for 100 industry and 100 pearls. The important trick here is that you have to build the stockpiles before you research these technologies. So turn all of your pearls and extra industry into these stockpiles. Then you get these technologies, and then you're going to have huge amounts of free resources through these stockpiles. And now the important thing is, again, you have to do it beforehand, because once you get these upgrades, future stockpiles cost more money or cost more industry, but the stockpiles you've already amassed won't have any additional costs. So you pick up the stockpiles, you get these researchers, and then you get huge amounts of food, science, or extra industry if you want. So that lets you cheat out extra food, extra industry, extra science, just by picking up 2 upgrades and by turning your pearls into stockpiles. You can also use it with other ways of getting extra stockpiles later on. So you can buy stockpiles in the marketplace for dust. If you think about it, later in the game, if you want to spend 300 dust to get 16,000 values worth of researchers, that's pretty much a bargain. You can also exploit other ways of picking up stockpiles. Like the cultists have the ability to turn enemy cities that they besiege and raise, like this one, hint hint, into additional stockpiles of food, science and industry. So basically, any way you can easily get stockpiles, you can heavily exploit with unskilled labor and organized labor. The best way to do this for almost every faction is to unlock this perk, pearl hoarding, turn all of your pearls and extra industry into lots of stockpiles, then get these upgrades. The ordering is really important. And once you have these upgrades, you will have a ton of food to boost the population in the cities, you have a ton of science to carry you into the later game, or you have a ton of industry to build up cities that are new. Again, these stockpiles sort of start to pale in value later in the game, like when you're researching these technologies, science stockpiles are not that helpful, but they're still nice to have. What this really lets you do is bridge the gap from the middle stage of technology, to the higher stages of technology very effectively and catch up with AI players. So this is a crucial trick, I think, for endless difficulty, and I hope you have success with this trick in future. It's something I only recently discovered in my playthroughs, but I figured I should make a shorter video about it just to explain it to you in a compact format. So let me know what you think about this kind of video, if you enjoyed it, if you learned something, and if you did, please consider subscribing for more content like this, and of course my Let's Plays where I explain my strategy in greater detail. And you can see stuff like this in action then. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Quick Tips.